Good evening. This is Trending Now on AMG TV. I'm Keti Kajabo, and here are the stories shaping Africa tonight. We start in Senegal, where President Bassirou Diomaye Faye is preparing to launch his own political party, marking a clear break from former Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko. Faye has tasked advisor Aminata Touré with leading the new movement, while Sonko, now Speaker of the National Assembly, pushes constitutional reforms, barring a sitting president from also leading a party. Lawmakers passed the amendments, but Faye has sent them to a referendum instead of signing them into law. The split comes amid an economic crisis over misreported public debt and ahead of 2027 local elections. Turning to Tanzania, authorities have detained dozens of people ahead of Tuesday's anti-government protests, organized by young activists demanding the release of opposition leader Tundu Lissu. The protests coincide with ruling party CCM's 72nd anniversary. Army spokesperson Sylvester Manguru has warned protests won't be tolerated, and police say they're cracking down on social media mobilization. President Samia Suluhu Hassan won a second term with 97% of the vote in October after an opposition boycott, followed by unrest a government committee says killed over 500 people. A toll opposition groups dispute as far higher. Now to Uganda, where 4 farmers, backed by campaign group Avaz, are challenging TotalEnergies in a UK court over the East African crude oil pipeline, arguing it violates Uganda's environmental and constitutional laws. They're seeking an injunction to halt oil flow through the 1,400-kilometer pipeline, set to become the world's longest heated crude pipeline. Environmental groups call it a carbon bomb that risks Murchison Falls National Park. TotalEnergies says it has strict safeguards in place. It's believed to be the first case testing Uganda environmental law in a British court. And finally, tonight's top story out of Kenya. The country marked the 36th anniversary of the Saba Saba protests on Tuesday, with demonstrations against President William Ruto's government met by a heavy police crackdown in Nairobi. Oda Kaitesi with the story.
3 decades after Saba Saba first forced open the door to multi-party democracy, Kenyans are back on the streets, this time demanding accountability from the current government. Plainclothes police officers moved in on protesters along Harambe Avenue near the National Treasury, dragging some demonstrators away and forcing them into unmarked vehicles. Uninformed officers made further arrests on Wabera Street, even as Siaya Governor James Orengo addressed the media in the city center in a bid to calm the situation. The activists say they were simply exercising their constitutional rights. The crackdown follows days of tension after Nairobi Regional Police Commander Issa Mohammed declared the planned protests illegally, citing a failure by organizers to formally notify authorities as required under the Public Order Act. Ahead of protests, police had already barricaded roads leading to Parliament with barbed wire and set up checkpoints along Jogo Road, Mombasa Road, and Thika Road in the center business district. Businesses stayed open, but security agencies intensified screening of people and vehicles entering the city. Organizers, however, reject the illegality claim, insisting they did serve formal notice and pledging to place ahead with a peaceful march from Jivanje Gardens to Parliament. With memories of last year's deadly anti-government protests still fresh, many Kenyans are watching closely to see how the day unfolds.
That's your Trending Now for this evening. For more updates, follow us on all social media platforms at EMG TV. I'm Keti Kajabo, and thank you for watching.